Welcome back to the Taproom Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I'm here at the Brew Kettle production facility in Strongsville, Ohio with Jack Kephart of Brew Kettle and Justin Kerlin. We are on to the Major Lager. This is a new premium lager from you guys. It is in 6-pack, 16-ounce cans for $8.99. That's right. I had to ask because it sounds crazy, but this has been my go-to. One of my go-to after work beers right now. It's the value on it is insane, and the artwork is awesome. And it's a new beer for you guys. So talk a little bit about the beer. What was the idea of going into this, and why 6-pack 16 ounces at such a low price? Well, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, so 70% of the drinking population is drinking out of this one category, right? Most of them are drinking premium domestic style beer, right? Mm-hmm. So the Miller, Coors, and Buds of the world. And those consumers are looking to trade out, and they're looking to trade out into something that's local, right? But most of them are very, I would just say, cost perceptive, right? They want to make sure that they're not going to spend too much money on it, right? So we wanted to add a value-added product that we knew would apply to that consumer that we call as craft curious, right? Maybe they're just starting to dip their toes into the craft beer scene, right? And mm-hmm. trying to find their first beer that they, can come. And being that we have, the pubs, we get calls for every time it happens every day. What do you got that tastes like Bud Light? Mm-hmm. What do you got that tastes like Miller Lite, Coors Light? So we said it's time that we do something our own and do it so that consumer can know that they're buying local too, that they're buying a local craft beer, and they can be proud of what they're drinking. So this year just so happens to be the 30th anniversary of the movie Major League, and growing up in Cleveland, I'm sure everybody at this table can agree that Major League was probably one of our favorite movies as a kid. Yeah. And so we knew we wanted to pay homage to that movie as well, and we knew that would captivate the Cleveland consumer and the state of Ohio. And I think that's a kind of a global phenomenon, not just Cleveland, but it's worked. I mean, people relate to it. They understand where we're going with it. We tried to make the artwork be subtle, but at the same time clear that we were paying homage to the 30th anniversary of the movie. And with this category, there's just a huge number of drinkers. And we thought if we went to that aggressive price point, we could, pick up some new drinkers into the category and help, kind of be a gateway beer for them. And so far, it's been so good. I mean, it's been a great launch for us. We're still a small brewery, so at times it's hard for us to put out a ton of beer at one time. And Jack did a lot of great work preparing for the release, and we were able to put it out there. And I know most of you guys are probably Indians fans that are listening to this. We had a great deal with the Cleveland Indians this year. We signed as the official beer of the club level, and so the entire club level is all Brew Kettle out. Awesome. And so. We thought that this would be a perfect tie-in, so we tried to hit that opening day mark and get it out into the public right around that second week in April, and we were able to do that. And this canning, we've been using mobile canning. We're in the process here soon of moving over to a new facility that will have a canning line for us. So once we get to that point, this hopefully will become a mainstay beer for us.
Absolutely. My grandfather was that Bud Light, Miller Lite drinker his whole life. If I put this in front of him, he would have loved this. This is something he would consider himself a craft fan at that point. We could always get him to kind of drink like a Christmas ale or something, around Christmas time. But it was just always he was always, my beer has 5 ingredients, that guy. And so it's like, this is something that I could have put in front of him, and he really would have enjoyed and brought him in. He would have been that perfect crossover candidate for it.
It's funny because when I told Jack, when we had the first conversation about this beer, what we needed it to be, it just needed it to be crisp, clear, refreshing, easy to drink, right? And I think it's funny because myself, when my previous career or previous job, I was with Founders Brewing Company. And we had Founders had launched a beer called Solid Gold up there, and I was there for the launch of that beer. And if I was to compare the first two launches, I mean, it's amazing what he was able to do in the first run. It turned out amazing. The beer was just super easy to drink. We did 2 test batches, and we tested those at different beer fests around town. I'm sure some of you guys may have, people listening may have been to those festivals and saw test batch number 1 and test batch number 2 out there. Test batch 1 was the one that ended up winning, and when it went in our hearts, and that's the liquid that you're tasting now. And to be honest with you, I don't think he could have done it any better in the first go round. It's fantastic. So,
and Jack, it's got to be fun to kind of brew a nice clean beer now.
Yeah. I mean, most brewers that I know anyway, take pride in brewing lagers just because they, it's tough to hide behind, anything. So this was just an interesting blend of trying to blend a light lager, a true, maybe not calorically light, although it is on the lighter side, being that it's only 4.5% alcohol, but also trying to give it a few notes of that craft flavor, which we did with just a quick late addition of citrusy American hop.
Oh, nice.
Just to give it that initial citrus character up front, and then the grain bill has we went with rice as the adjunct to lighten it up, but then we used Vienna malt to try to give it to bump up that malt character, even though we were lightening the body and the color. So you're getting a little more malt character out of it, given the color of it. So that's what we were going for.
And you're talking about the brewing a nice clean beer and having something. In my travels, it's been interesting to hear. Somebody goes into a place, a brewer generally goes into a new place. They're trying a lager first, and that's what I tell people at work all the time is. It's nice to have a lager. There's, if somebody knows how to brew beer, if they can make a good lager, if they can make a good, because like what you were saying, Jack, there's nothing to hide behind. Mm-hmm. And this is something that's really nice, balanced, easy drinking, crushable. I mean, if I'm sitting at home one day and I don't have anywhere to go, I could probably go through a whole 6-pack pretty easily. Yeah. It's a really nice beer. And you were mentioning a little bit about the canning. You've been bottling pretty much since Brew Kettle's been out. Now you're slowly getting into cans. What was the move into that shift?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you look at grocery store sales or sales in general in the state of Ohio, bottles have been declining significantly over the last couple of years, and we just feel like cans are the future. Actually, it's a little bit better for the liquid. There's no exposure to light, a little less oxidation in there. There's less room for oxidation. Mm-hmm. So, to me, and it's lighter and easier and usually cheaper as well. So, it's just a better format all around for us. And so, we will be transitioning all of our products into cans.
So everything will be in
cans. Yes, everything will be in cans moving forward. We're probably 2 months away from having everything transitioned over, but it's late summer. You'll see everything from the Brew Kettle is going to be going into cans, and we made that announcement about 4 weeks ago through Rick Arman at Ohio.com and all that, and he wrote a nice article about it, and it's just the future of craft beer, to be honest with you, and we felt like it was time for us to make that change, and as we move into this new facility, it's becoming easier and easier for us to do these kind of things. So this was just our first kind of entry into it this year, and like I said, moving forward, you'll see a bunch more of that coming.
Well, this is a perfect style to do it with too,
yeah.
and the perfect kind of as you're trying to get into that market.
Yeah, it's a perfect game day beer. It's a perfect lawnmower beer. It's a perfect beer for people that just want something with a little bit more flavor and a little bit more. And it stands up against the other competition as well. I mean, there are some great beers in this category coming from other craft breweries. I've always been a fan of Scrimshaw and a couple of the other ones that are out there that are, in that same kind of category of easy, light, crushable beers. And I feel like, Jack hit the ball out of the park. I know it's a baseball beer, but that's a good pun for that. I mean, he really nailed it. So,
and again, like you were saying, what we were talking about with the Shandy is you buy this and your money's coming back into Cleveland. You're not sending your money out to Scrimshaw or someone else. You're keeping it.
Other beers that are out there in that same category. I just feel like, for the first go round of this beer, I don't feel like there's anything that we need to change. It's just very, very easy to drink and really, really good. I love the logo, and I think everything just kind of fell into place with that.
Well, it pops. It definitely pops on the shelf. People definitely are drawn to the logo. You guys did a really good job with getting the artwork commissioned for this. Is really, really well done. And like you were saying with cans, you can take them more places now too. Yeah. And so maybe somebody who was passing up Brew Kettle beforehand because they couldn't take it to the beach with them or somewhere, now they're picking up that product because they can take it with them too. So,
and it's priced aggressively. So some person might have walked in there and said, "I want to try a new beer, but I want to, I got to watch my my finances or whatever, how much money I spend on beer." And they don't have that apprehension when it comes to this brand. Right. And it's a value, so you're not getting a 12-ounce can, you're getting a 16-ounce can at $8.99. You can't beat it.
It's an unbeatable.
It's worth trying once, and then that's really the hardest part is getting that first sale, right? Once they pick it up, if the beer stands the test, then people will come back. And
they're coming back.
The beauty part is we've already seen the rebuys have been good, so. It's been a good beer for us. I
know what I would eat with this. Another good grilling out beer, burgers, some hot dogs, some brats or something. What, in your guys' professional opinion, what would you say is going to go?
I mean the same thing that you're saying. Your traditional ballpark fare, that kind of stuff, picnic fare, whatever you're taking to the down to a picnic at Edgewater or wherever you go to drink beer and eat at a barbecue, would be perfect for it. So you can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a nice anything you really want to eat, you're going to be good. Yeah. You can't go wrong. Yeah. Anything else about this beer you want to get out that I might have forgotten to cover?
No, I think it's it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys again for your time. Tune in next week for another all new episode here at the Brew Kettle.